All right. So let's sit or stand, whichever one you want. We're just going to do a little movement before we start stretching. So I'm just going to stand or sit if you want. And we just take some deep breaths in, reaching way up over that head, big circle. Two more. Good. Then we're going to roll those circles and a nice, easy shoulder roll back. Now this will depend. If you haven't done anything yet today, treat it as a warm up. You have done something, you can make it a little more of a range of motion movement. Just rolling it back. So make sure it's a circle, not an egg. Good. And then we'll go the other direction. So up, forward, down, back. Notice if anything's squeaking or crunching or anything like that. If it hurts, make it smaller. And then down and back. Good. And just like we did the circles up and over our head, now we're going to go front and back. Open it up. Give yourself a hug, reach back. Two more. Good. Let's do some arm circles. So those arms are out to the side, like you're trying to touch both walls. And if you were to stop your hands and draw a dot on your middle finger on the wall, then you'd want to circle that dot. So again, it's a round circle, not an oval, not egg-shaped. Now, if you want, you can make it a little bigger. Again, trying to hit all the sides of the circle. And then we'll reverse. So maybe you're just here reaching really wide, or maybe you're making it a little bit bigger. Pick what feels good for you tonight. And like one more. Ah, good. All right, we're just gonna high knee. You can sit in your chair too. Just lifting that knee up to that chest. Maybe add a little bicep arm in there. No stress at all. Let's do sit or stand really tall though. Reaching the top of that head up toward the ceiling. Now I'm putting the ball of my foot down, then my heel very gently. If you're walking on something, you don't want to break it. I take those arms just a little more out to the corner of the room. Still biceps. And let's take our legs just a little bit wider. Doesn't have to be a lot. I don't know if you heard my hip pop or not. Good. And one more. Bring it in. I'm going to take those feet nice and wide. And we're just going to rock side to side. So this one obviously not so easy in the chair. Rocking out those hips. Now, if you want, you can do a little circle. So it's side, front, side, back. I like a ragdoll move here. Shoulders are down and back though. I'm not letting the shoulders round to the front, even though I'm allowing my chest to come down. Still keeping the shoulders down and back. Good. And then we'll switch directions. Abs in here. Soft knees on the front if you have any back discomfort at all. And lengthening from those hips all the way to the top of that head. Abs in. Soft knees, one more. Good. All right. Now we're just going to swing that leg a little bit. So if you need to for balance, just going to swing. No pressure, no stress. Don't think about how high your leg's going. If you want to work a little balance, you can take that hand up, put it wherever you want. Good. And the other leg. Maybe the hands are out. Two more. And then we'll do that cross. So chairs a little bit back there. So I can still get a little balance. Help with that hand without kicking the chair. Good. And bring that leg in. And we'll do the other side. Here we go, other leg, just nice and easy. Good, now you can sit down if you want, or you can stand. I'm just gonna do some ankle circles. Circling that ankle big. Now if you want, you can flex your toes right there at the front, flex, point, flex. So you're not just circling your ankles, you're also working your foot and the other direction. Oh, I hear things grinding in that side. Good, and then switch over to the other side. And reverse. Good, I'm going to sit down, and we're going to point and flex. So just reach those legs out and point and flex those feet really big. Now, if you want, you can kind of press through the ball of the foot and then point the toe. So press and point, flex, press and point. Flex, press through the ball of the foot and then point. Now, you might notice you get a foot cramp. If you need to, stop and work on that. Taking your time. Good. I'm going to bring those feet right underneath us and raise up on those balls of the feet and drop them down, rolling through that foot, working those calves. Two more. Good, now we're gonna do our toes. You might have to walk your feet out just a little bit and take those toes up as hard as you can. Flexing those toes and those ankles right through that whole foot. I'm really feeling that stretch in those shins in the front. Good. Now, I don't have a towel handy, but one of the exercises you can do for your feet is to put a towel or dish towel, something like that under your feet, and then you tuck your toes under and you kind of crumple the towel and then you reach your toes back out. So that's a good foot exercise. Anybody's experiencing some foot pain, that one can be good for strengthening. And of course, you do both feet. So reach, put those toes down, scrunch those toes, arch that foot, reach it back out. Two more, one and two. Now, You can do another move, but you gotta be super, super careful. You have to have enough leg strength to do it. And you just kind of bring those toes underneath. Sometimes you can do it standing, but you have to really have your balance to stand. So you're just gonna bring it under and do a very nice, gentle, you can even tuck it under the back of the chair a little bit, very gentle toe stretch back. But be careful, don't put your whole leg weight on it. Got this other leg to help support. You should feel a nice stretch down the top of your foot and through your toes. Good, and then you can switch. So you're just gonna take those toes underneath, bring that foot underneath, find that spot where you just toes and the top of the foot, getting just a nice stretch. Now, most of the stretch is on the big toe side, okay? So be careful with those little toes. Why we don't do it standing is we don't want to lose our balance and break a toe. Good. And then just relax. All right, we're going to take out to the edge of the seat. Flex that foot. All right, this knee, 90-degree angle, ankle, knee, toe, and flex from the hip. Now, we don't have to go very far here, right? And if you have an iffy spine, you probably don't really want to go any further. So you have to really know your spine. Now, if you'll notice here, I do have my hands on my thighs. I'm trying to keep my shoulders level, okay? Also tuck your hands behind your back. If you feel like you're gonna cheat and have one hand above the other, making your shoulders go lopsided, take the hands out of the equation if you need to or want to. Again, I'm really flexing that foot down there. Feeling that stretch all down the back of that leg. Good, and we'll bring it back up and switch. Flexing that foot. Little micro bend in this knee. It's not hyperextended down toward the floor. And flex and hinge from the hip. Good. All right, now we're going to take it out to the side. Now you're going to be careful with your chair. Make sure your chair doesn't tip over because you're going to put one hip on the chair and then you're going to take the other leg out to the side. Now, hip, knee, ankle, toe. These are all in alignment out here. And this one's flex, but it's an easy flex. Just not pointing, but you could point if you wanted, just a slightly different stretch. Just kind of a neutral foot out there. And then you're going to hinge from the hip again. Now you got one cheek on and one cheek off. And then you can, again, relax your arm on your thigh, but try to keep your shoulders neutral. Now, if you can't find the stretch here, you can take it out a little bit. Again, trying to keep those shoulders relaxed. So you're feeling the stretch all down the inside, maybe behind that knee. If it hurts it on out. I'm trying to watch myself in the mirror here. So make sure that your elbow doesn't push the leg out. Fit in a nice straight line. Inner thigh stretch. And lengthening from that hip up to the top of the head. Some people will take their hand out here, and that's fine to rest your hand, but don't put any downward pressure on the knee joint. And try to relax this quad. Tell it to relax. I don't need your help, thank you. Good. Then bring up and over to that other side. So getting that front leg in alignment, flexing it out. Now I'm pretty much at a 90-degree angle here. One forward, one to the side, but find that spot that works for you. Again. Taking it forward, and then if need be, out a little bit to find that inner thigh stretch. Relax knee, relax quad. No pressure on the knee joint. Lengthen from those hips up to the top of the head. Another deep breath here. Good, and bring it back to the middle. All right, I'm gonna sit right here in the middle. Now, if you can't bring your legs safely up on top of your thigh, good. And this is what you'll do. Slide out a little bit, cross one ankle over the other. And then hinge from the hips with a neutral spine. Slight bend in the knees. You'll be here. That's one option. The other option is to keep your leg out a little bit. Take the other leg up and across, getting away from your kneecap. Okay, sitting up very tall. Now I've got a great stretch going here in that hip. If you don't, you can pull the foot under your knee. Also sitting up straight here. So we're making sure that the shin bone is not pushing down on the kneecap. Sitting up nice and tall. Deep breaths. Maybe you find the hip finally releases and you can walk your foot back a little more for a little more stretch, or maybe not. This is a super tight stretch for me. Really trying to relax into it. Good. Now, be careful as you take your leg down. Don't drag it down your kneecap. Up and over. And again, remember you cross the other leg over the top. In from the hips. Don't slide off your chair though. Or you can reach the leg out. Hip, knee, toe. Bring the other leg up and across on that thigh. Sit up tall. Nice deep breaths. Feel it relax. Bring that foot back a little bit. Good. Put that leg down. We're going to sit up super tall here. And then we're just going to think of taking our belly button toward the corner of the room. Take the belly button to the corner of the room. Now, if you want, you can take the hand around here. What we don't want to do is push the leg in, so keep a little resistance there. You can also take your feet together if you want. Sit up really tall, relax those shoulders, and maybe take your neck around. Lengthening through the top of the head, nice tall spine. And back through the middle, nice and tall, other side. Steady with those shoulders, make sure they're a straight line across. Good, and back to the middle. We're going to walk our feet out just a little bit. And we're going to put our forearms on our thighs, lengthen from those hips through the top of the head, shoulders are down and back. Reaching our spine like we're pulling it apart. And you can stay here. If you have concerns about your spine or you just ate a large meal, you can stay here. Otherwise, if you would like, you can reach down, putting those hands on those feet. And now we're lengthening back and forward through the hips and the top of the head. Relaxing those lower abs on those thighs, kind of like a forward fold, but seated. Good, and then we'll support on our thighs and bring it back up. Now we're going to do cat and cow in the chair. So you're going to have to decide how much you want to do with your spine. So just to turn it around a little bit, you're going to tuck the belly button and then sit up tall and maybe a little arch in the back. So think of belly button in and then chest forward. Now you'll notice there's a little rounding here on the cat. But when you get to cow, make sure you pull those shoulders down and back. Round. Not all the way down. And then opening like you're on the bow of a ship. Belly button in. And reach. Good. All right. Now we're going to do some abs here. So we're going to bring our ribs toward our hips. The lower body doesn't move. You're just doing a crunch in the chair. All right. I usually just put my hands out of the way, but my shoulders are down and back. All right. So squeeze and then sit tall. Like somebody's punching, you're right there in the middle. You're crunching. You could put your hands behind your head too if you wanted, but don't pull your neck forward. Good. Nice and tall. Now let's pull our chin back and relax. Push it forward a little. Pull it back. Pull forward, a little back. Just notice that feeling. The difference between having your chin forward and your chin back in neutral. Might be really hard if you have many years of slouching or maybe other reasons that you're getting kyphosis. This is one of the reasons, one of the things we can do is just work on pulling the chin back. The other one is retracting our shoulders. I guess I should turn back. Relax, nice and relax, and just squeeze them back. And then relax. Bring them back and relax. Straight back. Doesn't have to be as big as I'm doing it. Just think of sliding your shoulders back. We've done wall sits before. It's like when you get your spine on the wall and then you pull your shoulders back to touch the wall, right? One more, good. All right. Now we're going to turn back to the front here, and we're going to take one arm up. Now the other arm might hold on to your chair, okay? But the shoulders still relaxed here. You're just going to reach up toward the ceiling. Now, my hand, hopefully, All right, checking out my side view there. And sometimes we do have a little bend in our elbow, and that's okay, but we want the hand to be reaching up toward the ceiling in a straight line. So any lane you have going on here is just from your hand reaching super high. Now press the hip down on this side, kind of like if you were standing, you'd press your foot into the mat. And reach tall. Let that upper body just slide down. Good. And bring it in nice and tall. Same thing, just lift your arm. Just let the head do what it wants. Really stretching up, pressing that hip into the seat. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing again. And some of you may not want to reach over midline. And that's okay. You just do the same thing we just did again, right? So final concerns, and it might be just to reach up. Okay? Now, if you're okay and your spine's all right, you can take it up and over, get a really nice big side stretch. You're going to have to monitor your own back on this one, know your limits, and do what works best for you. Notice I've let this shoulder drop. I have this elbow bent back here now. Allows me a little more movement in that lower shoulder. And notice my arm's not resting on my ear. There's actually space between my arm and my ear. Good. Anytime you need to come out of a stretch, go for it. Don't wait for me. Reach up. You can be here. Or you can take it over. Now the elbow is right above my ear. It's not forward, not back, right over the side. Go ahead and bring that back in. All right, couple moves here. Let's open it up. Now my elbows are just a tiny bit below my shoulders, and I'm opening up that chest, tucking that chin, making sure my chin doesn't jut forward. Feeling especially through here. Trying to get those elbows back behind you as much as you can. All right, bring it back to neutral, straight line, elbow to elbow. All right, reaching the top of the head toward the ceiling. Let's just lower those hands down here to a nice flat, fingers forward. And then we're going to squeeze the elbows back toward each other and then release back to neutral. So squeeze back, then to a 180. And pull it back. Straight line, elbow to elbow, and a few more here. Exhale. Inhale. And one more. Good. Woo, shake that out. Let's rest those forearms on those legs. Palms are up. And let's just do an easy fist, not a tight fit this time. Just rolling my fingers in a little bit. You can keep them straight too if you wanted. We're going to try to take our wrists from side to side. We're just going to take our pinkies toward each other and then our pinkies away from each other. Forward and away. So from this perspective, my hand's not going up and down at all. It's going side to side. So think of the back of your hand staying level with your wrist. It's actually kind of tough. Side to side, pinkies and thumbs. Pinkies toward each other, thumbs away from each other. Good, and then we're going to go down and up. Again, we're trying to keep this forearm edge of the hand in a straight line. Okay, so here we go. Tuck them up, neutral, drop them down. And up. You really feel those in your forearms. I can anyway. Especially along this outside edge of my hand. Right here, I can really feel it in my hand. And one more down and up. Good. All right, so we're gonna reach out, pinkies, ring, middle, pointer, thumb, and rotate. So scoop, fingers, and rotate. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb, rotate palms down. Palms up, palms down. Reaching, like you're trying to grab something. Shoulders are down and back though. Two more, just to give you a close up if anybody's on a phone or something small. It's a reach. And notice I'm trying to keep the wrist level instead of breaking the wrist. I'm trying to keep them as level as I can. So running them in and squeeze. Not a tight squeeze, just a little squeeze. Two more. One and two. Good. Shake it out. And bring those arms in, elbow to elbow, straight line. Fingertips out. Now your shoulders are down and back. Now, I find that people do this and then they can't get anywhere because they'll lift those elbows up a little bit to get those hands in toward that chest. The shoulders are down and relaxed. And in and out. Two more. Good, and back to neutral, and then we're going to press one against the other. And switch sides. Good, and let's roll those shoulders down and back, and let's sit very tall. And then we're going to take our ear over to our shoulder. So let's pull those hands back so our elbows are right by our sides. And then take that ear over to that shoulder. Nice deep breath here. Middle and the other side. Lengthen through the top of the head and then let that neck come over. And just check in with those shoulders, make sure they're still level. Good, and back to the middle, nice and tall. Now we're going to take it to the side. Smile at the person next to you. And into the middle, sit tall and take it to the other side. And back to the middle. Then we're going to look down. And then just take those eyes up and that chin up toward the corner of the room and down. Let's roll those shoulders down and back. You're gonna take one hand up. I'm gonna draw a little circle with your pinky. Just gentle pulling with the other pointer and thumb of the other hand. I'm just going around in a little circle around that joint. Nice and relaxed, nothing strenuous. Just pulling that finger a little bit away from its buddies there. And then go the other direction. Just gentle pull and circle. Good. And then the next finger. Now you can do all 10 fingers or you can do all 10 toes with this. Reversing direction. Middle finger's a little tricky here. Doesn't want to make a nice circle. And we'll get to that thumb. And again, think of the anatomy of your hand. Don't think about bending your thumb back or anything like that. It's a long, you're circling around this part of the joint here. So again, long, gentle pull away from your wrist. And then we can do that other hand. Reversing direction after a few. Nice deep breaths while we finish this up here.